IGN just got to spoil the entirety of the Street Fighter Secret Lair alongside the rest of the spring or summer drop, I forget which one it is, which includes multiple secret lairs with multiple new arts. So that's what I'm going to talk about in today's video. Don't forget, if you're looking to pick up singles or sealed product from a website, then why not try CoolStuffInc.com, the sponsor of this channel. Link in the description below. Use the code KENOBI at checkout for 5% off your order. Let's begin with IGN's reveal of the Street Fighter Secret Lair. We have Guile, Zangief, E-Honda, Ryu, Ken, Dalsem, ChunLi, and Blanka. The first thing I do want to highlight is that we don't know what the hidden card is, and if it's like the Hawkins secret lab of the Stranger Things one, this could be anything really. This could be a food token in the shape of something food related from Street Fighter. I don't even know. I'm just throwing out conjecture there. That is a bad example. A treasure token, that's a belt. I'm showing my lack of Street Fighter knowledge here, aren't I? One suggestion from Baron on my Discord that I quite liked was the idea of perhaps an arena style card reprinted into a stage from Street Fighter, or another land that is reused temple or similar. I think that could be a really cool way of doing it. The other obvious one would be Bison, the big bad of the Street Fighter series. I'm going to look at each of these individually and judge how much I think they fit with my knowledge of basically Street Fighter 2, Turbo on the SNES, and then Street Fighter 4 and Marvel vs. Capcom as well. That's where my knowledge comes from. Street Fighter 3, any Street Fighter after 4, I don't fucking know anything about. Blanka, Ferocious Friend, is a 5-mana human beast warrior who is a 5/5 and he has haste. I guess if any of them were going to have haste, Blanka kind of makes sense. He's the feral fast beast amongst them. He has 2 attacks that are both flavored, similar to what we saw with Dungeons & Dragons cards in AFR. We have Rolling Attack and Electric Thunder. Rolling Attack is the spin attack that Blanka does through the air, and it kind of shows that he's all about momentum here as you cast multiple spells to give him trample. On top of that, his Electric Thunder attack is the thing that shocks everyone who's touching him. As we can see in the artwork, it's shocking. Well, I want to say Ryu, but some people are saying it's Dan. I guess that is a ponytail, so that probably is Dan. For every spell that targets him, he gets +2/+2 and it does 2 damage to each opponent. Blanka is a really interesting design. If you were to hit him with multiple pump spells in a turn, he becomes a huge hasting, trampling monster that zaps everyone, but obviously with no card advantage installed on him, so he's not quite a feather. You can also stick auras and enchantments on him as well to grow him, things like your Rancors and other similar enchantments. Please note though, you can't hit him with abilities. I like the design. He doesn't seem incredibly pushed or broken, but he's relatively unique. We've seen a few other creatures in the past that have benefited from being targeted multiple times in red, but this is, yeah, I think it's an interesting design space, even if I'm not like frothing at the gash to build around it. ChunLi is a 3-mana 3/3 human soldier. I guess soldier is our stand-in for police officer, right? I believe she's a police officer in the Street Fighter lore, but I think Rick Grimes was also a soldier. So soldiers are police officers now, which isn't far off what we see in America anyway. She of course has multi-kicker because she's famous for kicking multiple times very, very fast. And the multi-kick allows you to exile instants cards, not sorceries though, only instants from your graveyard. I thought it was instants and sorceries, but I was wrong. You put kick counters on them, and when she attacks, you have to copy the cards with kick counters on them, and you may cast the copies. It's interesting because she doesn't get rid of the cards that are in exile and go back to the yard. They stay basically underneath her or with kick counters on them. Keep in mind, as you cast her later down the line as well, she'll be able to recast other cards with kick counters on that you've exiled earlier in the game. So the more you cast her and the more spells you put under her, the better it is when she attacks. I think ChunLi might be the most oppressive or broken of the ones from the Street Fighter set. I say that. She's not oppressive or broken, but she's the closest to being it. She feels similar to Narset in many ways, an attack trigger that's going to do dumb things. I guess maybe ChunLi might see some play in the upper power levels of Commander. Then we have Dalsem, Pliable Pacifist, 4-mana 1/3 human monk. Don't really think you're a pacifist, mate. You're setting people on fire in the games. He has reach because he has long arm. His teleport ability says that he has hexproof unless he's attacking. Whenever a creature you control attacks with reach, untap it and it can't be blocked with creatures with greater power than this combat. And he also draws you cards when you deal damage to players. This guy is the best big fat butts tree commander, defender commander there is that doesn't have defender written on him. He's not quite a Hades, he's not quite Doran because they do the enabling themselves, but this alongside an assault formation is going to make your walls slap. Honestly, I kind of like that you got to jump through hoops to enable a walls deck with Dalsem. This might be my favourite one to build around myself, although I can't really justify building another green-white commander because I've got 2 on the bench already. So I took a quick look after I'd finished recording the video for walls that have reach, and there's 6 of them in the game, 3 of them are red. So my dreams of a Dalsem wall deck are either dead, or I've got to jump through more hoops to give my entire army reach. Maybe it's just not viable, who knows. Then we have E Honda Sumo Champion, a 6 mana 0/7 human warrior that has Sumo Spirit and 100-handed slap. Sumo Spirit says as long as it's your turn, each creature assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power, which is a great defensive ability against some creatures and a very strong offensive ability if you're playing big butt fat walls again. It's probably a piece of text that Dalsem really wanted. I wonder if the design actually had that at some point. And then 100-handed slap is a really interesting ability. When he attacks, E Honda gives up to 100 creatures plus 0/+X, where X is the number of cards in your hand. I fucking love this bit of text. A, it's so over the top that's 100 creatures. B, it's a buff to, like, based upon your hand size, and he's doing a 100-handed slap, so it's on theme. And C, the thing I think is really cool about this, or at least I thought was really cool about this, is that it was referencing 100-handed one. Another creature in Magic that's double white pipped that can block 100 creatures. A white card that references 100 creatures. Then I realized that both of them just mentioned 100 hands. And at that point, what can you really do other than reference 100 creatures? Because, well, I guess you can't have it doing 100 damage now, can you? Guile, Sonic Soldier, is a human soldier, not a hedgehog, which I think is funny. There's something about this being called Sonic Soldier that just, I don't know, it's a little bit lame. He's blue, white, and red because he's America, baby, and he's got the flag tattooed on his bicep. It's a shame we didn't get some movie art of him looking like Van Damme. Said no one ever except for me, because most people hate that movie. Another human soldier, and when he enters the battlefield or attacks, put a charge counter on him, and you can remove one of them from him to do one of 2 things. You can Sonic Boom someone in the face, where he deals 4 damage to any target. That includes other people's faces, which I think is pretty good. Or you can Flash Kick, gains lifelink and indestructible. Interesting. It's weird that he got a charge up. Maybe this is something to Guile's moveset in Street Fighter 2 that I don't remember. Do you have to, like, charge up a Sonic Boom or Flash Kick? Is there a delayed frame, perhaps? Obviously, he enters the battlefield, gets a counter, then you attack and you trigger and remove the counter. And you got attack in to get a counter, and then attack again to remove a counter. He's like charging up each turn, which is not something I've ever really associated with Guile, but I've never really understood how to play him either, so I could be wrong. Love to hear if I am wrong in the comment section. I mean, I could look it up. I could look up if you can, like, charge Sonic Boom in Street Fighter 2 Turbo or in modern Street Fighter games, but I can't be bothered. I'm not going to look it up. You can look it up. You can tell me in the comment section. We come to our second, or maybe third, I think Blank is Brazilian actually, our second North American Street Fighter character with Ken Burning Brawler, a red, and 1/4/2 human warrior with prowess. For 1 red mana, you can give him first strike until end of turn. And whenever Ken deals combat damage, you may cast a sorcery spell from your hand with mana value less than or equal to that damage without paying its mana cost. Honestly, if he had haste, I think you might be able to slam him into a legacy shell, honestly. But the fact that he hasn't, you've got to protect him and then fire him off into combat, and he's got a bad back end, means you're never really connecting him with this. This is no Dreadhorde Arcanist, right? He grows bigger when you cast spells, then he gets to cast big spells from hand. It's a really weird bunch of synergy that doesn't really excite me, and maybe I'm missing the obvious application of it, but I think he's my least favourite of all the cards. And I don't really see anything about what he's doing. Like, how is Shoryuken casting a spell from your hand? I don't know. This is the big miss of the set, in my opinion. And of course, if America is Jeskai, then Russia is apparently Jund. Zangief, the Red Cyclone, is a 5-mana human warrior who is a 7/4, and he must be blocked if able. That's right, he's a Zergo Bellstriker style creature, which is funny, because if I was going to pick any creature in Magic the Gathering, I'd pick the 7-mana, the Helm Smasher Zergo to be Zangief, but let's not get bogged down with that. Iron Mask, as long as it's your turn, he's indestructible. Similar to Zergo as well in many ways. And then he has the Spinning Pile Driver. Whenever he deals damage to a creature, if that creature was dealt excess damage, if it pulls over like a trample style effect, this turn, well, not as trample style effect, it doesn't hit the opponent, but if it does more damage than their toughness. If it does more damage than their toughness, that creature's controller sacrifices a non-creature, non-land, permanent. In essence, you can't really chump block him. If you chump block him with a 1/1, it's going to do 6 excess damage, as we said. And then, yeah, it's going to make the opponent sack something. You can't sack non-creature or non-lands to this, so Zangief is going to randomly, like, make you sack mana rocks and treasures and enchantments in Commander I actually really like Zangief's ability. It's probably the most feel-bads of all of them, so it's funny to see the 7/4 5-mana Jund lad just being an absolute chad and making people fucking sacrifice stuff. You can't even choose just to take 7 either. You have to block Zangief and then sack something, unless you had a 7/7 or bigger line. The funny thing is, if he gets given trample, he doesn't do any excess damage to the creature, he just pours over into the opponent, and it turns off his third ability, which is very, very weird. I do like these out there designs. I think this is actually a success. The idea of him pile driving the creature that he hits into the opponent, doing excess damage and destroying things on the way is fucking awesome. And lastly, we have Ryu World Warrior that I didn't crop correctly for the video, but I'm tired and I want to go watch TV with my wife, so I'm not going to crop it. It's late here in the UK. I wish they wouldn't announce things at the end of my fucking workday, wizards. Ryu World Warrior is a 3-mana 2/4 human warrior with training. One of the most unexciting recent mechanics. But it makes sense, right? Because he's always training. Why I'd put counts on other people when he's trying to be the best in the world, I do not know. And then he has the infamous Hadouken, 5 mana and untap him. And you discard a card, and he does damage equal to his power. Wow, it's to his power, so 2. Okay. If excess damage was dealt to a creature this way, draw a card. So you get to shoot X1s to death and draw cards, which I guess is a thing. And it costs 5 mana. And you got to discard a card. He's basically a spell shaper that turns into a shock that sometimes draws cards. The untap is cute, I guess. Mechanically, it doesn't do anything, but it's flavorfully very, very on point because that is the mechanically the controller input, or the closest we can get to it in a Magic symbol for doing a Hadouken on the old Super Nintendo controller. I like this design. I don't think it's very exciting. I'll probably never fucking play it, but I think the design is cool. On the whole, I so far really like the Street Fighter ones. I like Street Fighter as a property primarily for the music and the nostalgia of being a kid and playing it. I think Ken is the only real miss, and I think ChunLi is probably the strongest. And then we had a few more Secret Lairs revealed. We had these retro lands, which are like retro wave, I guess is the best way to describe them. The image that I can get off of IGN, again, big shout out to IGN for having all these images up for us YouTubers to use in our videos, but this is by Ben Makes Stuff. This is his Twitter account here. The reason I'm bringing up the artist in particular for these ones is that Ben Makes Stuff is a proxy artist, or a proxy maker, shall we say. I met him at Vegas and he gave me a proxy card that I believe I showcased on Instagram a little while back. It's really cool to see Wizards of the Coast involving the proxy and creative communities around Magic in this sort of stuff. There's a big and very valid discussion to be had around Secret Lairs kind of stepping on the toes of proxy artists and alter artists in the past. There have been accusations that some of the styles they have taken, they've gotten artists to use certain styles that have been known to be done by alterists in the past. There is an argument, obviously, proxy artists also profit or at least get some infamy or some success out of Wizards of the Coast IP as well. Same with alterists. But I do understand when alterists might feel like they're getting cut out of the picture by having Wizards get every slice of the cake and the pie. I think it's wonderful to see them going to the members of the community like this and not leaving them out. So props to Ben. These are wonderful. I think these are going to make a lot of people very, very happy. And my favourite one, I think, is the forest. I think the actual green netting of the treescapes in front there's something about it that I like more than the others. It's either that or the plane. And then we've got what I'm just going to call the Kato doing stuff Secret Lair. Kato being the new planeswalker from Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, who's been showcased in the new anime short film as well. And now we see him having a shadow of a doubt, being perceptive to bribery, brain freezing people, unmasking some monster thing, and snapping his fingers. I think these are great. I really, really like when we get to see spells being cast or spells depicting actions of other planeswalkers. I really like the IDW comic book cards that showed like Ashiok duressing Dak Faden and Dak Faden famously looting through a burning hole in a door and all that shit. I love that stuff. So I think Secret Lair is doing this for every set. At least if we see one for each set, I think it's fantastic. I'm really into it. The next one is a set of 4 spirits in this sort of ethereal alternate style. style. I don't know what to describe as other than maybe picture book. We've got Hokori Dust Drinker, Kira Great Glass Spinner, Island of the Great Revels, and Elvish Spirit Guide. This might be the most slam dunk for cards that see play in older formats. Although I guess Hokori hasn't seen any play for about 20 years. But Kira has seen play in Merfolk, Eidolon is a burn staple, and Elvish Spirit Guide is a legacy staple too. I really like all these. The through line, by the way, is spirits, as a heads up. 3 out of 4 ain't bad for hitting on staples. More people should be putting Hokori in their cubes too, so I'm down for that. Then we've got Neon Foil, Neon Ink Foil. I assume they're all foil and the neon yellow isn't. I don't know. It's just 4 cards that are kind of staples from original Kamigawa, but given the neon ink foil treatment that we saw on the chase rare of Hidegetsu in the new set as well. Ghostly Prison is a commander staple and has seen small amounts of legacy play in the past. Freed from the Real is a combo card that I've played. I've played in Defender Tribal in Modern on the channel as well. Beseiju being an absolute staple in spell-based combo decks and older formats. And then Hall of the Bandit Lord, I think is more of a commander card again, but actually this might be the more slam dunk for playable cards, even if Free from the Real is dirt cheap usually. I also like this idea for a Secret Lair, that we get to see reimaginings of old staples from the old set outside of the set, but in Secret Lairs or tertiary products as well, or peripheral products. I'm into this. Then we have the Hideaway Lands. I think Moss Warp Bridge and Shadowk are being the most commonly played ones. I think this is really, I guess the white one sees a bit of play in cubes as well. The art for these are gorgeous. Shadowk Isle in particular being my standout favorite from these. Again, this seems like such a good way to explore the flavor and the theme of the main set that these Secret Lairs are going alongside. This might be my favorite set of Secret Lairs ever. Like, or not in this particular one, but I mean collection of Secret Lairs in terms of expanding the feel of the main set. A comprehensive feel, a comprehensive tour of themes. I think this stuff is fucking great. Then we've got another set of things on camera while we're doing stuff, but it sounds like I'm being critical. I'm not. I really like this exploration. We see Idyllic, Tutor, Swords to Plowshares, Solve the Equation, Praetor's Grasp, and Veil of Summer, all of which depicting Planeswalkers doing stuff. Whether it be the Wandering Emperor, like dismantling the hand of Jin-Gitaxias with his sword in Swords to Plowshares, probably the most literal depiction of a sword hitting someone in a Sword to Plowshares art ever. Through the Veil of Summer, where it looks like Kato is struggling to get through Tamiyo's Veil of Summer. And then we also see Tamiyo in Praetor's Grasp, which might be the most literal of all of these. As you say, that Swords to Plowshares has a sword stabbing somebody. But I'm a big fan of Praetor's Grasp in Commander anyway, because I like playing other people's powerful spells. So seeing Praetor's Grasp and having it be like a story moment where Tamiyo is in the grasp of Jin-Gitaxias is fucking awesome. And then lastly, to round off this set of Secret Lairs, all revealed by IGN. I'm just going to add that again, although there's been all over the fucking screen all through the video. We have the weeaboo, I guess, the cutesy, the kawaii Planeswalkers. We have Tamiyo the Moonsage, Johnny Mentor of Heroes, Sorin Grim Nemesis, Ashok Dream Render, and Angrath the Flame Chained. Angrath and Sorin and Ajani feel like weird ones. Tamiyo I've seen played in Commander enough times, and a little bit in Cube 2, and of course Ashok is just a house across multiple formats. I do quite like these. Whilst it's not my preferred style of art and everything, I think Angrath looks absolutely wicked, and it's just a cool, refreshing thing that also ties in with some of the sensibilities and the influences of the set that they're around. I can't say any more, can I? All of these explore the elements of Japanese pop culture or traditional art, in the case of the Hideaway Lands, in ways that I think do nothing but enrich the main set. And that's a really cool thing to see from tertiary products. And that's it. That's the Secret Lairs coming. I don't know if I'm going to be buying any, because I'm kind of trying to abstain from buying Secret Lairs, but I don't begrudge or judge anyone that does. Some of these are fucking awesome. What do you think? Let me know in the comment section below. And I just want to say this is a massive slam dunk. I think these Secret Lairs are genuinely great. I guess there's a problem with the value proposition of basic lands, like 5 basics for £30, but then again, maybe that's where it should be, right? Collectible cosmetics should be the thing now expensive, not the playable staple. Whoever managed the art direction on these particular Secret Lairs, my hat is off to you. You have smashed it out of the park. Big shout out to IGN, the big company, for spoiling all these cards instead of creators. And I'll see you all soon, everybody. Let me know in the comment section below what you think. I'll see you all soon. Ta-ta for now.